Recording in progress.
Morning, Dave.
All right, ready? Good afternoon. This is the August 31st Policy Board meeting of the Pensacola and Perdita Bay Estuary Program. It is 1:33 p.m. That's our call to order. Roll call?
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. Chairman Bender,
Yes.
Vice Chair Speed. Take that as a no. Commissioner Cole. Here. Commissioner Peach. Here. Commissioner Bergosh.
Here.
Councilman Hill. Here. Mayor Boutwell.
Here.
Mr. Norberg.
Here.
Ms. Campbell.
Here.
Perfect. Councilman Rice. And Mayor Fitch. We do have a quorum of 7 in person.
Okay.
Oh, and Woody just texted me he is here, just muted.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you. So the first thing on order is approval of the board agenda. Any changes or anything? If not, I'll take a motion to accept as presented.
So moved.
Second. All right, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Approval of the July 27, 2022 Policy Board minutes.
So moved. Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion passes unanimously. Staff updates.
Yes, good afternoon, Board. We don't have a lengthy list of staff updates like we usually do to spend as most time with y'all on the Community Grant Program application review, but 2 things I did want to mention is the public comment period for the CCMP closed on Sunday. We received around 15 comments, both from public and from state and federal agencies, local state and federal agencies. So staff is currently working to go through those comments, address them, incorporate them into the final version of the CCMP. The original goal was to bring that to the September board meeting, but because of printing delays, we're going to push that to October. So we're going to have a special meeting in October to have the board adopt the CCMP and do a bit of a press event associated with the CCMP. So just wanted to make a note there. Also related to interns, just wanted to make note that Tucker Reynolds, who has served as the Manatee Outreach intern, is going to stay on board as our Education Outreach intern through the rest of the fall. And then Sarah Jacobs, who has been our development intern over the summer, is going to continue to stay in that role as well.
Perfect.
Anything else? All right.
Okay. Action items. Approval of the 2022-2023 Pensacola Perdita Bay Estuary Program Community Grant Program applications. Do you have anything you want to?
Sure. So just to set the table on this one, this is the 3rd year of the Community Grant Program, and I would be remiss if we did not thank Senator Broxson and Representative Andrade, and then with the support of Representative Williamson and Representative Salzman for their continued legislative push these last 3 years. This funding cycle, we have $250,000 to go towards the Community Grant Program. Now that we have a draft CCMP, the priorities in the RFP that was released back on July 6th and was open through August 3rd are consistent with the goals and objectives outlined in the CCMP. We have received a total of 15 applicants. We did have a selection committee convened to review those proposals and down select for recommendation to the board. The committee convened last week to review all 15 of those proposals. The top recommended 8 are in your backup. It's a great diversity of proposals this go around, ranging from research and monitoring, education and outreach to on-the-ground restoration as well. Just to note, the committee is the review committee was comprised of Ms. Chastity Hobbs. It serves on our Education Outreach Committee. Mr. Paul Looney, the current chair of the Technical Committee. Ms. Lee Yokel, also on the Education Outreach Committee. Ms. Bethany Edwards with Innisfree Hotels as their sustainability director as part of our business partnership effort. And Ms. Beth Fugate with DEP that serves on both technical and education and outreach. We do have members of the review committee, I believe, maybe some are in person and some are on Zoom. And then we do have at least a good majority of the representatives from the eight proposals that have been recommended to the board here this afternoon as well. You'll note that of the eight, there are two that are proposed for partial funding. We did communicate with those applicants beforehand to make sure that that would not be an issue and have confirmed that that would be acceptable. That was done as a way to meet and expend all of the funds, all $250,000, amidst the 8 different recommended proposals for your review. So, Mr. Chairman, with that, we could certainly go in detail to each proposal, or we could take it as a slate and answer any questions that the board has.
First, I'd like to say, are there any speakers that want to talk on this item? If there are any, just asking. Okay, seeing none. Any comments from the board?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
if I might. The Manatee Meadows Protecting Manatees or Habitat Outreach, National Wildlife Federation, who would be their boots on the ground person for this? And I'm kind of disturbed by this because I'm sure the National Wildlife Federation has a whole lot more money than we do. So help me with that.
Sure. So this would be led by their staff member, Jessica Bibsa, who has long served on the technical advisory committee for the program. This was a proposal that was, or at least a very similar proposal was put forward last cycle in conjunction between the SJA program, National Wildlife Federation, and the Dauphin Island Sea Lab. We've worked over the last year or so to develop the Panhandle Manatee Program, which is an expansion of a manatee sighting network in the Northwest Florida region to make sure that we're expanding the education and outreach to boaters in this region. And with that expansion, and that's some of the work that Tucker, our intern, has done over this summer, has seen a real uptick in the manatee sightings that have been reported to the Dauphin Island Sea Lab network. If there's anything else to add, and I believe Jessica is on Zoom if you had a specific question for her.
Okay, I'm good on that one then. The other one I had a question on, Mr. Chair, if I might, was the no-till seed drill rental program. Farmers that need to use this, I mean, how many pieces of equipment would this acquire in $50,000? Because when you go to planting season, it's a season. And, if you got 1 or 2 pieces of equipment and got 10 farmers that need it at the same time, I wonder how that's going to work. And Blackwater Soil and Water Conservation District, I'd like to know I used to know who's in charge of all that, and I think I still do, but if you can help me out with that one too, please.
Sure. So I know Trent Matthews is the district conservationist, and I believe we have Candace on the line. Candace, if you're on the line, would you want to respond to Commissioner Cole's question?
Yeah, this is Trent and Candace. We're here together. So myself and Candace would be managing this equipment rental or share program. The rental is simply for the maintenance of the equipment, a lot of moving parts on a grain drill such as this. So that's just to make sure we can keep it up and running. There's Mobile, Baldwin, and Okaloosa County have similar programs. They're ran very successfully. It's shared by, I think, upwards of 20 to 25 farmers per year, and they're able to plant 5,000 to 10,000 acres a year using just this one piece of equipment that's shared. Primarily it's for smaller farmers who can't afford to make the investment on this one piece of equipment that's used just to plant things like cover crops, which are not a crop they're going to plant to make money off of. It's just strictly for conservation, keep nutrients and soil from washing off the field during the wintertime. You're right, there is a planting season. but it's not as critical as saying getting a corn crop in the ground or a peanut crop in the ground. Our window to plant cover crops is November 1st through really the 1st of February. So there is a little more time and for people to actually share it around and, let one neighbor use it and then move down the road to their next farm. Hope that answers your question.
Okay, so this is basically for what they're gonna put on the ground for over winter time to keep, wind erosion.
That is going to be the primary. Yes, sir. That will be the primary use, will be the winter months. It can definitely be used to plant permanent grass and things during, spring and summer grasses, but I would say 90% of its use is going to be between November 1st and the 1st of February.
Okay, and did I hear you right? You have the equipment, this money's gonna go towards maintenance? Or are you gonna buy a new piece?
No, sir. The intent is to buy the equipment, the rental fee, that we're proposing to charge them, that will be just for the maintenance. It'll be a minimal fee, somewhere in the $5 to $10 an acre range just to keep the equipment maintained.
Okay. All right, Trent, thank you. Appreciate that. I got a better understanding now. Thank you.
Yeah, thank
Yes,
you,
sir.
Commissioner Cole. I think that answered a number of the questions I had as well, especially, the amount to rent it, things like that. I think Matt summarized it fairly well, is that it's a fairly diverse group of projects and varying in scope and services. So, any other discussions? Okay. I'd also like to thank the committee's work on this. I know it's tough to have to weed them out. I know there are a lot of great projects, but it seems that I know we talked about some of the other ones that they were where they were across the board and not singled out or anything like that. So, okay, with that then I'll take a motion to approve the community grant program applications and the recommended projects.
So moved.
Second.
So moved.
Okay. I'll say Commissioner Cole, second by Councilwoman Hill. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any
Aye.
opposed? Okay. Motion passes unanimously. Next is the approval of Amendment 3 to FDEP Grant Amendment Number OWP02.
Yes, sir. So this is a very simple amendment that was required by DEP to clarify the funding line items and some standard language that's been updated by the department. Again, as Escambia County is the host agency for the SGA program, we wanted to make sure this went to the policy board first, and then it is on the county commission's agenda tomorrow for approval.
Okay. Any questions or discussion? Take a motion to approve then.
So moved. Second.
All right. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Item C, approval for NOAA BWET grant agreement.
Yes, sir. So this is a new $100,000 NOAA BWET grant. And this was thanks to all of Logan's hard work, taking the lead and working with our partners to put this proposal together. So we finally gotten the agreement back from NOAA. That is in your packet. And much like the other item, this will also go to Escambia County Commission for approval, as they are the current host agency, not tomorrow, but a future board meeting. So just want to make sure that was out there for reference.
All right, perfect. Any comments?
Part about this I like is the recipient's share of cost. That's the best part of the whole thing. Well, no, I guess the 100 grand is the best part of the whole thing. but
Second best
That's
is
second best, yeah.
is the zero next to it, underneath it. Yep. Okay. I'll take a motion to approve then. Commissioner Peach? Second. All right. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any
Aye.
opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Any policy board agency updates? If not, I have a couple. One, I think, you know, in the program grants that we just awarded, and again with the BWET grant, is looking at the oysters. Of course, you know, I've heard, I don't know, anecdotally, but I've heard that, you know, there's been some kill-off in oysters, that, you know, we know the filtration that oysters can use for the water. But at the same time, I don't know about you all, but I feel like I've also heard of a increase of Vibrio cases in the area. And so in talking with our natural resource department and with Matt yesterday, I think we're going to try to put out some additional information regarding that. You know, it is naturally occurring. It's from what we can tell, always present in various levels. Of course, depending on your immune system, if you have open wounds or cuts, you know, treat those when you get out of the water. It varies. And the other thing is we've had a lot of rainfall lately, and so rules of thumb on how soon to enter a waterway after an extensive rainfall, things like that. I'll probably discuss it again tomorrow, Jeff, during the meeting, but look to hopefully have something out this week ahead of Labor Day weekend, just so that people can be aware. And of course, if, you know, don't wait to get treatment. So, Commissioner Cole.
Thank you. And Mr. Chairman, for the good of the order, we've talked recently, actually yesterday, Senator Broxton's office about some situations we have with Milton and the new sewage plant and how we get over that hump. But I was surprised to find out Pace Water System has the entire Garcon Point Peninsula as part of their franchise. And they're doing a master plan to get everybody on sewerage on Garcon Point. And when you have Escambia Bay on one side and Blackwater Bay on the other and East Bay below it, Escatawba Point, where we've put so much emphasis on the oyster beds that we put in, it's naturally a big contributor to the septic tanks being out there, to the pollution that we see. And I was surprised to hear from Damon Botwell, their engineer and CEO out there, that they actually have a master plan in place to start going and moving that towards sewerage systems. I talked to staff this morning, and since we're in a public meeting, I can share this with my commissioner down the table there. We're looking at maybe some of the Triumph money, I can't keep the pots and buckets and everything separated, you know, without a cheat sheet in front of me. I don't know what pot comes out of, but money's money. I don't care what pot it comes out of, but us putting some money towards that through the BP to help Pace Water System get this in place even faster. So we'll be talking about that more, and I hope that's something the rest of the board will agree to, because it ties in environmentally, it ties in with putting jobs, it ties in with you know, getting septic tanks off of out of the system. But we did discuss the fact that a lot of these utilities that have this type of influence on our society, they charge exorbitant tap-on fees. And one of the things, if we were to put that money towards that, we would set a reasonable fee for that tap, not the astronomical fees that we hear of and see today. So, because quite frankly, if I had a good septic tank working and you want to charge me $5,000 to tie on your system, I'm not going to do it. But if it's, you know, if it's cost plus a small percentage, I think that we can get somewhere with that. So.
I know Senator Broxton's also working on that and trying to use some restore dollars, you know, maybe some of the state restore dollars. And then also, I was on the FAC Water Policy Committee meeting the other day, and they actually did talk about where some areas are helping cover the cost of the tap. And so that's one of the policies that we'll be looking at in 2 weeks or so down there in Miami. So it's see some best practices on how other communities have instituted that and helped the conversion.
And another thing we found out recently, all the utilities in Santa Rosa County come under no supervision or purveyance of the county or the Public Service Commission. Your guys all come under public service, Okaloosa comes under public service, and we've kind of, I mean, we've got utilities that run a tight ship, and we got some that are about to sink, for no better sense of the word. And I suggested to staff that we look at Escambia, look at Okaloosa, and say, okay, if these guys are under Public Service Commission, is that the route we want to go? Because Santa Rosa County doesn't want to get in the sewage business. And, you know, we're not water purveyors. So we'll be taking a hard look at, you know, the Public Service Commission and getting that on board. So there's somebody that these utilities have to answer to other than just their members. So.
Perfect, thank you. Any other comments up here? Any comments from board members online? Okay, seeing none. Any public comment? Anybody from the public? Okay. Matt, I think you got one more thing?
A couple before we get there, just
All
real
right.
quick to follow up on the conversation that you and Commissioner Cole just mentioned. There was, as we talked yesterday, there was a press announcement yesterday afternoon among a number of wild harvesters and aquaculture operators and some different business owners about FDAC's expanded or proposed expanded closure of shellfish harvesting in East Bay and Escambia Bay, and kind of a call to both DACs to continue that monitoring, and then a call to continue to invest in water quality improvement projects. So that way we can see that sustainable aquaculture and wild harvest industry return back to the Bay system. So we're going to be working with that group to make sure that the estuary program can help out however we can. Related to that, there is a number of funding opportunities, both directly with Restore, but through infrastructure bill funds and an upcoming call for NERDA projects, water quality related NERDA projects. So when that information comes down, we'll be sure to coordinate that with each of your respective staffs to make sure that there's a coordinated effort across the Pensacola and Prudhoe Bay area for septic to sewer priorities.
And Matt, did I see they were going to do a pinpoint study or try to pinpoint the exact source? I mean, I think we could all pretty much agree to where it's coming from.
Right.
But did I see something where they're
I have
trying
not
to backtrack it or no?
I have not heard of anything from the state level to do that. That was a request of that group. Certainly funding a microbial source tracking study, an MST, would be a great way to start to pinpoint, some of these bacteria loading issues that we definitely see throughout both Bay systems.
Okay. Thanks.
The next announcement was just a quick reminder that the Community Grant Symposium, where we will present these awards, will be September 22nd at 5:30 at the Bayview Community Center. That is during National Estuaries Week, so we invite the entire board to be there. It's a great celebration of reporting out on this past year's grants and then celebrating the next cycle of grantees for this fiscal year. September 22nd. 5:30. So the last thing I want to mention is something that I think we've been expecting for a while, and that's bittersweet news in that Emerson Cheney, who's been on our team since the beginning, is going to be leaving us this Friday. Emerson, where'd Emerson go? He's all the way in the back. Look, he's almost out the door. I'm not good at prepared remarks, but Emerson originally came to us by way of former Escambia County Administrator Gilly, who was recommended to her by one of her former colleagues at the University of West Florida. And in the email said, "I've got this student that has been the best I've ever had in my 20 years of teaching at the university." And this was in the infancy of getting the estuary program off the ground. So I said, sure, we could definitely use some help. Brought Emerson in. He came in a full suit and tie with his long hair at the time. And, ever since then, he has been integral to getting the estuary program where it is. And there's few people that you meet in life that have such a great outlook, and that's definitely him. So I'm really going to miss going to miss having Emerson around, but we know he's not going to be, well, he's going to be going far for a couple of months at least, traveling the country. But he will always have a place with the SJ program, and just really want to recognize him for his 3 years of dedication to this organization.
Mr. Chairman, we all know how much Emerson likes, excuse me, get up in front and talk to us. I think it'd be great to have him one last time. Come on up here, tell us what his plans are and where he's expecting to go. I know you love this, Emerson.
Yeah, and first of all, I just want to say thanks to Matt and everybody on the team for the last 3 years. It's been such an incredible opportunity to learn from such talented, passionate, and dedicated people. And it's bittersweet to be at the end, but I'm so excited for the path that this organization is on. I know there's nothing but great things for the future for everyone in this room, and yeah, it's been just so wonderful, and couldn't be more thankful for the opportunities that you've all have given me. As Matt said, I got engaged this summer, so my fiance and I are taking a cross-country trip starting hopefully Monday, but our plans aren't fully locked in yet, but that'll be definitely in the next week or so. And then, yeah, beyond that, I'm really interested in continuing to serve our community and serve our country. I applied for a commission in a couple of uniform programs that I was not accepted to this go around, but I'll be reapplying to try and pursue that opportunity to yeah, serve our country and serve our community in a greater capacity. So I think that pretty much covers it. Matt said I graduated in the spring. You all knew that. So yeah, thank you. Thank you, guys.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
Emerson, if I might, you said fiance, so I take it you eventually have plans to get married.
Yes, that's correct.
All right.
We're taking that one step at a time. We're haven't made solid plans on a date or anything like that yet, but we are seeing a wedding venue actually very first thing. So we're going up to Dahlonega, Georgia. To
Well, I thought maybe
check
you'd
that
say
out.
Las Vegas when you got there.
Yeah, right. Well, that might be in our future too. I guess it depends on how things are.
road takes it, right?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
Take it from somebody that's been married over 50 years now. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. And she's always right.
I'm already pretty good at that.
All right, well, perfect. Well, congratulations. Best of
Thank
luck
you.
with your next endeavors, and
Yeah,
especially with the commissions you're seeking. So,
Yeah.
thank you for doing
Thank
that.
you. Absolutely. Thanks.
All right. Anything else? Anything for the good of the whole? We got something else?
Just being emotional over here. Don't worry.
Okay.
Don't worry about it.
All right.
We're good. Thank you.
All right.
He's gonna fly.
We didn't ask him to leave.
All right, we're adjourned then. Thank you.